Hey, Rumble World Entertainment, and of course the question had been going around, will there be more Mission Impossible movies after the final reckoning, which of course was billed as being the last entry, or at least the last entry with Ethan Hunt, aka Tom Cruise. The answer seemingly is no. Now, this is probably a rumour at this stage, but we're going to have a look at it because after the disappointment of the box office return for the last two movies, which of course was due to them filming back to back and getting constantly delayed through COVID and then the strikes and all types of things, you were always thinking, there's no way they're going to go out on a whimper. He's going to want it to be big. So what's happening now? Well, there is a rumour that director Chloé Zhao is being enlisted to write and make Mission Impossible 9 with Tom Cruise. Let's have a look at this. Would she be a good choice? Probably not, to be honest with you. She doesn't really seem to excel with action and stuff like that. So, yeah, that is a bit of a worrying sign. But let's have a look at this anyway. Again, this is a rumour at this stage, so we'll take it with a grain of salt. But it's saying, as its title clearly suggests, Mission Impossible The Final Reckoning was billed as the last movie in the long-running action franchise. But, spoilers ahead, with Ethan Hunt still alive and kicking when the credits rolled, the story was left open to continue. While The Final Reckoning was far from a box office flop, are you kidding me? It bombed, unfortunately. It was considered something of a financial disappointment following the massive success of the previous Mission Impossible movies, and it was generally assumed that Cruise, director Chris McQuarrie, and everyone else involved had decided to leave well enough alone and call it a day. However, a report by Dex's Moe, or something like that, never heard of it, claims that Cruise is eager to light the fuse again, and has reached out to a new writer-director to work on the project. According to The Insider, Cruise has enlisted Chloé Zhao to write and direct the 9th movie in the Mission Impossible franchise, and the pair have already workshopped a treatment. How much of this do you actually believe? Because Chloé Zhao, there's nothing in her catalogue that makes you think Mission Impossible. She'd be perfect to write and direct a Mission Impossible. Like, the last movie she did that was action heavy was The Eternals, which was also the first movie she did that involved action and stuff like that. It was a disaster, and of course she didn't write it. So where are they going with this? He's reached out to Chloé Zhao. But anyway, this insider primarily reports on celebrity gossip, but has also broken some pretty big movie-related stories in the past. Still, this sounds more than a little far-fetched to us, so we wouldn't put too much stock in it just yet. If Zhao really is in line to direct a new Mission Impossible movie, we're sure the trades will pick up on it fairly soon. So even this article's like, we don't believe the Chloé Zhao end of things. That is the thing. I wouldn't be surprised, and I do believe that Tom Cruise does want to do another one. They've already said they were looking to do another one. Chloé Zhao, though, is where you're going, yeah, I'm pressing next to doubt on that one. So prior to the movie's release, Cruise and McQuarrie were asked if this really was the end of the line for Hunt, where Cruise replied, "You gotta see the movie. It's a hard thing for me to discuss at the moment because it really is something that you have to experience, but it's an epic emotional journey of the entire franchise. It's Homeric." McQuarrie added, "It is, I hope, the satisfying conclusion to a 30-year story arc. I'm pretty confident that people are going to feel that the title was appropriate." So, The Final Reckoning also starred Hayley Atwell and everybody else, Simon Pegg, we know all of that good stuff. It's the Chloé Zhao end of things where you're like, yeah, I don't believe Chloé Zhao would be involved with it. Not necessarily saying, it wouldn't happen without it being Cruise and McQuarrie. I think, by the sounds of things, like, McQuarrie seems to be like, yeah, he's done. He wants to move on. But Cruise, I can see him 100% doing another one. Absolutely, I can. It's just, who would direct the next one? There's so many different choices, but where and how this thing comes up with the idea of Chloé Zhao, it's just like, I don't believe that for a second. Now, The Final Reckoning, I did watch it. I finally did get to see it, and I enjoyed it. Yeah, it's not the strongest in the line of the movies, but I still enjoyed it. And I do think it wrapped up the story from the first part quite well. Yeah, it goes a little bit weird with the whole, the intelligence thing, whatever it was called. I can't remember exactly what that thing was called. The entity, that was it, wasn't it? Yeah, it gets a little far-fetched with that, but at the same time, these are movies since 97 where they were able to make themselves look like other people and sound like other people. So, trying to say it's a stretch with that, is it? It's always been a bit of a stretch. I like the connection and callback to the first movie with the knife and the guy from that room, whatever he was called. So it did wrap up all of that story, but at the same time, it definitely left the door open for more. How did it not? It absolutely did. I won't spoil. There is a big kind of reveal that I won't spoil somewhere in the movie that absolutely leaves the door wide open for more. So it is the question of, would there be more? If I think The Final Reckoning, in particular The Final Reckoning, did do incredibly well at the box office, absolutely earned money and lots of it and stuff, they would have probably said, okay, we're done. Paramount can move on with new people and, continue the story elsewhere. We're done. The fact that it didn't, and Dead Reckoning Part 1, what it originally was called, also failed again. All COVID and the budgets ended up so high because of all the delays that added to all of it. I think it's absolutely pretty much guaranteed that Cruise would say, I want to go out on a high with this character. I've been playing him since 96 basically, so I want to go out on a high. I don't want it to go out like that, especially after Fallout. So yeah, I think they're absolutely going to do a ninth one. I absolutely think Tom Cruise and probably the rest of them will be back. Don't know who the writer and director will be. Maybe it will end up again being Chris McQuarrie, but Chloé Zhao? No, I'm absolutely pressing X to doubt on it being Chloé Zhao. There's nothing in her catalogue that says she would be the right fit to write and direct a Mission Impossible movie. Where do you even start with getting the idea of Chloé Zhao to write and direct a Mission Impossible movie? That's like saying she's going to direct the next Terminator movie. You'd be like, what? Where would you get her for doing that? It makes no sense. So I think this guy's just kind of, maybe, if it is a guy, maybe they're just a massive Chloé Zhao fan and love Mission Impossible as well, and just want to try and will something into happening. But I think there will be a new Mission Impossible movie. I do think Cruise will be back. I don't think Chloé Zhao is going to have any involvement. But what do you guys think? Would you be interested in seeing a Mission Impossible from Chloé Zhao, of all people? And more importantly, you think there will actually be a Mission Impossible 9 with Tom Cruise? Let me know. And with that, shall leave it there for this one. So do like, share, subscribe and all that good stuff. Cheers. Catch you in the next one.